In this video, I'm going to explain the main aims of Practical 5, as well as give you a few hints on getting started. The main aims of Practical 5 is that you create and use arrays, as well as practice using recursion. Question A of the practical requires you to create, populate, and manipulate an array. Before you start, it is suggested that you write some pseudocode or a flow diagram for the question. I have created an example pseudocode that I will quickly talk through with you. You are first going to declare an array and then read in 10 characters from the user that must all be lowercase letters. You can check for the lowercase letters by checking that the ASCII value is in the correct range for letters. More information on the ASCII values is available in the prac. Then you need to display each of the elements, subtract 31 from the ASCII value of each of the elements, and then display the elements again but in reverse. Question B of the practical requires you to create and sort an array of random variables. Before you get started, once again, create some pseudocode and draw a flow diagram. I have created a pseudocode example that I will talk through. In your main function, you're going to declare the array, call assign round array, display the array, sort it, and then display the sorted array. To assign the array, you need to seed your random number generator and then create random numbers between 4 and 115 for each element. You will then display the array and implement the sort algorithm, that's bubble sorting, that's given on page 6 of the practical. After that, you will also have to calculate the average of the array. Remember that in order to get a float from two integer numbers, you need to cast both integers to a float before you divide them. Question C of the practical requires you to create two recursive functions. The first is a counter, while the second calculates the greatest common divisor of two numbers. The first function is a printer counter function, and it must do the same as the for loop given on page 8 of the practical. To implement this, you will need to make use of static variables. Remember that a static variable will hold its value through each successive function call. The second function calculates the greatest common divisor of two numbers. The algorithm to do this is given on page 8 of the practical, and a brief explanation of the algorithm is given at the top of page 9. Your main function for this question must call your printer counter function and work out the greatest common divisor of the pairs of numbers given in point C.